Hi, and welcome to this week's video blog on Some Assembly Required. I'm Sarah Hammerker, and I'm glad you joined me today. Today I'd like to talk about what I term the witching hour. This is the hour of time between 5 and roughly bedtime for your kids that, especially when they're young, but this can even happen when they're teenagers, things are just chaotic in your household, things don't go well. This is in response to a question one of my readers had that went like this. What can my wife and I do to help the children to be obedient and pleasing to be around during the hours of 6 to 8 p.m.? The children are ages 3 to 11. We find that at the end of the day, the children are wound up and tired, usually leading to lots of fussing, rough play, and disobedience. My wife and I are also tired at the end of the day and would help at that time if everyone in their house was on their best behavior. I try not to laugh while I'm reading this, not because I don't feel that parent's pain, because I do, and I understand, because there were many times when these are the worst hours they were the worst hours in my household. They are the worst hour in many households, especially with kids between 3 and 11. But I hate to break it to you. I am not going to be able to give you a magic formula that's going to get the best behavior out of your kids between hours of 6 and 8. That's what I call the witching hour. The reason I call it the witching hour is because everything that goes wrong will go wrong. Kids are cranky, you're cranky. It's just like this time of day when you're trying to get the meal on the table, the kids are hungry or they're tired or they missed their nap or they're dropping their nap or they've had a long day at school. There's 1,000 things that go into having this time of night, and you can't expect your kids to be on their best behavior. You just can't. But that doesn't mean that you cannot have some calm and peace during this time. So there is hope for a smoother evening. There are things that you can do to make the witching hour not so crazy. And here's some tips on what you can do. You can implement this immediately, but there also are some things you can do ahead of time. Let's talk about the things that you can do ahead of time and then things that you can do in the moment. Take home right now. If you're watching this video today, you can take these home and implement them and you will have a better evening, I promise. First of all, let's think about what's happening between 6 and 8. Namely, people are getting home from work and you have to feed them. What makes these hours worse is when you don't have a plan for dinner. What's your plan? You need to have a plan. So plan the menu at least a week ahead of time. I always do it Sunday afternoon. We plan the menu. I go to the grocery store after church on Sunday night, and we know what we're doing this week. Believe me, that has saved our bacon millions of times. So plan ahead. It does make dinner go better. Prep ahead of time what you can, especially when your kids are little and they can't help anymore and they're more clingy this time of the evening. Slow cookers are your friend. Oven timers are your friends. Even if you're working, even if both of you are working, cutting up the vegetables after dinner the night before while you're making lunches can help. There are things that you can do that will help ahead of time. As your household calms down, if your household is crazy, you start teaching the older kids how to help you cook dinner, how to help you do some of this prep. Even if both parents are working, there are things you can do. That you can get dinner, you can like chop things up in the morning. You can chop things up, have a Saturday where you do a lot of meal prep. There are you can freeze meals and pull them out in the morning and thaw them and only have a little finishing to do. There are tricks you can do. And believe me, it sounds like extra work, but it's worth it because you will be calmer and you'll be able to have a better connection with your children. What else can you do? You can, let me get my other page here with my notes. Consider eliminating or paring down after-school activities. If your kids do sports or take lessons after school, this could be contributing to the chaos. If you're trying to get everyone fed and out the door to a soccer game, that rush can just make things 10 times worse. So think about cutting back or stopping these activities for a while until you can kind of recalibrate your household. It doesn't have to be a permanent thing, but it's okay to take a break. for the season. Maybe you take a break in the summer until you get things under control. Now here's what you can do to restore. Those are things you can do in advance. Now here's what you can do to restore a semblance of peace for dinner time and bedtime. One of my favorites that I did when the kids were little was that Daddy came home from work, or Mommy and Daddy came home from work. Rather than everyone trying to vie for your attention, hug them, greet your children, then send them to their rooms for 20 minutes. Not as a punishment, just say, okay, now you're going to have some time alone for 20 minutes while we finish getting dinner, and then you can spend time with Mom and Dad. Then we're going to give you time. So you make this clear. You tell children exactly what's going to happen. Kids will be surprisingly patient if they know, I'm going to go to my room for 20 minutes, but after that, Mom and Dad are going to talk to me. They're going to communicate with me. This will have them not vying for all your attention and you to have some quiet time with your spouse. Or even if one of you goes in, you can even have one of you go do something with the kids while the other one gets dinner. You can play tag team like that. I do recommend dad's children were old enough, 3 to 11, old enough to go to their room for about 10 minutes while they had some adult alone time. Believe me, this is golden. This will help immensely. Make sure your children have chores. I cannot emphasize this enough. Kids need to contribute to the household. They just don't need to take care of their own stuff. They just don't need to take care of their stuff. They need to help with the grown-up stuff, with everyone's stuff. So a 3-year-old can help put napkins around the table, put silverware on the table. You know, the other kids can do other things. The older ones can certainly set a table, clear a table, put food away, do dishes. They can do all these things. So make sure they have chores to do. So you call them out of the room after 20 minutes. You say, okay, now you do your evening chores. Establish bedtime routines. When your kids know what to expect, again, they will be more relaxed and things will go smoother. We stagger the bedtimes in our family. So one kid goes to bed at 7. Well, when they were younger, one kid went to bed at 7, one kid 7:30, one kid 8, one kid 8:30. That way we were able to spend a little time with the child right before they go to bed, kind of that one-on-one time. Wasn't a long time. You know, we read a story, we sang a song, we had something silly, and then they went off to bed. That way, when they know that they're going to have a little time, little personal time with Mom or Dad, they will calm down. They really will. Kids are generally in a frenzy for attention when they don't know when they're going to get that attention. So the more that you can establish these routines and the more that you adhere to them and that you give that child attention, that special attention, that one-on-one attention that they need and they love, the less chaotic your evening is going to be. These simple things will help calm that, what I like to call the witching hour, because it's just crazy. Help calm it down and help you to be able to come home from work, enjoy your family, enjoy your kids, and have a more relaxing evening yourself. I hope this was helpful, and if you ever have a question you'd like me to answer on my video blogs, please let me know. I love to hear from my readers. There's a contact button on this webpage. Just let me know, and I'm happy to answer them in an upcoming video blog. Thank you for joining me for this week's Some Assembly Required video blog. I'll see you next week.